equation. Okay, in this video I have taken a sum from trigonometry. I'm relating two chapters, trigonometry and quadratic equations, right? You know what's the meaning of solving, right? Finding the value of the unknown is nothing but solving. Finding the value of the unknown. In general mathematics, if it is numbers, we take x as the variable. In the same way, when we are dealing with angles, of course, we take theta as the variable. But here, in this sum, I have taken x as the variable. Right? Now, a trigonometric equation, as we are having an is equal to, and it's a quadratic expression. Right? I like to call it as trigonometry, solving quadratic equation. In trigonometry, solving quadratic equation. Now, the question goes like this. 2 cos square x plus 3 sin x minus 3 is equal to 0. Here the question is, we are solving. Right? Here what is the variable? Variable is nothing but the x. The x present there should be solved. The angle, the missing angle, for what value of the theta or x, the given equation is true. Means if you substitute what value of x is x 30 degrees, 40 degrees, 50 degrees, 90, 0, what's the angle? If you substitute what angle there in the place of x, the expression equals 0. That is the given question. Point 1. Now let's think differently. What is the degree of this quadratic equation? You know, as it is quadratic, obviously the degree is 2. Right? Means how many values we get? 2. As the degree is 2, we can take it as 2 values or basing on the situation. Now, let's go for that one. Now, the question is solving quadratic equation. Now, the only logic what we have to understand here, when we are dealing with such a type of sums, what are the trig ratios present there, right? The logic what you have to remember is, I'm writing it here, the logic what you have to remember is, we should have same trig ratio. We should have same trig ratio. Trig ratio. That's the main point. You have to remember this one. Here, what are the two trig ratios you have? Cos and sine. What is the logic saying? Whenever we are dealing with such a type of sum, we should have only one trig ratio. Either or in the entire equation, either we should have sine, or in the entire equation, either cos. Whatever it might be, it may be sine, cos, tan, cot, sec, cosec, whatever it might be, we should have same type of trigonometric ratio in the entire quadratic equation. Now, what we are able to see, we can see cos square and sine. So, we don't want 2, we need only 1. Okay. Now, what is the logic we have to find? The next logic what we have to find means always change the squared trig. Please remember this. This is the logic what you have to. We are having two trigs. One is sine, one is cos. Okay. Which one shall we change? Change the squared trig. Why? Because, right, we are having square identities if you remember. Right? So, change the cos square into sine. Change the cos square into sine. Why? Because, right, as we have square identities. Right, as we are having square identities, always change the squared trig here. So what I am doing, right, so here what we are having, cos square. So what I am doing means, the same 2 I am taking, right, 2s plus 3 sin x. Okay, minus 3 is equal to 0, but we know cos square can be written as 1 minus sine square x. 1 minus sine square x. So, right, we know because of square identity 1. That's what, by, right, square identity 1. What's there? Sine square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. We know that. So, what is cos square theta? Cos square theta is nothing but 1 minus sine square theta. basing upon that formula, what did I write? In the place of cos square, I have written it as 1 minus sine square theta or sine square x. Now do general mathematics. So what is the first condition what I have done? I want all same trig ratios, point 1. To make that happen, I have changed the squared identity. So what is the square trigonometry? Cos square. I have changed it as sine square. Of course, let's simplify. Let's simplify and make everything in terms of sine here, as everything we need in terms of sine. Let's go for that. 2 multiplied with 1, 2 minus 2 into sine square, 2 sine square x plus 3 sine x minus 3 is equal to 0. I think you might have seen there. What I have done, just I have distributed. Now I am starting simplifying. Minus 2 sine square x, okay, plus 3 sine x, okay. Now plus 2 and minus 3, obviously you know it is nothing but minus 1 is equal to 0. So what I have done, plus 2 minus 3, I made it as minus 1. Now I got a trigonometric or a quadratic equation dealing with all signs. That is the first condition. We should have all same trig ratio. What is the same trig ratio we are having? Sine. But generally we know we don't want a sign minus at the beginning. Therefore, what I am doing, multiplying with minus the entire equation. Multiplying with minus, right, on both the sides. That is this is the first step we have done. We have multiplied with minus on both the sides. What does it become? If you multiply with the minus, what will you get? 2 sine square x. Very good. Now minus into plus, it is minus 3 sine x, right, plus 1 equals 0. What I have done? Multiplying with minus the entire equation. Now see here, is it looking like a quadratic equation? Yes, it's a quadratic equation, but it is dealing in terms of sign. So to make it simple, let's follow a technique. That is what our next point is, right? Take any variable to help us. Right, so this is the logic what we have to follow. So what I am doing means, I like to call this as equation 1. Okay, now I am taking right, sine x is equal to a. What I am done? So sine x, I like to take it as a. Okay, why? Because just to make the sum very simple. So now can I call it as 2, right, as I am calling sine x is equal to a, can I call it as 2a square minus 3a plus 1 is equal to 0? Yeah. So what I took, in the place of sine x, I took it as a. So here it is becoming 2a square minus 3a plus 1 is equal to 0. What we have guessed, we got a quadratic equation, general quadratic equation. Now let's factorize, right? Let's factor by factorization. So you know, let's factorize that. If you factorize it, I think straight away we can write it as 2a square. Now 2 ones, it's a 2. What are the factors does it go? Can I write 2a minus a plus 1 is equal to 0? Just I am doing factorization, nothing else there. Minus 3, so minus 3a, I am writing it as minus 2 and the minus 1. Minus 2 minus 1, it's minus 3. So I am splitting the middle term. Minus 3 is nothing but minus 2 minus 1, altogether it's minus 3. Now I am taking it as common. Can I take 2a as a common? If I take 2a as common, a is left. Minus, if I take 2 as common, 1 is left, right? Always take the sign which is in front of the third term. What is the sign here? Minus 1. I took minus 1 as common. If minus 1 is taken out, a is there. You know, plus is nothing but minus into minus. We know plus is nothing but minus into minus. If you already take one minus outside, one more minus is there.
That's simple. So minus 1 is equal to 0. Hope you are able to understand what I took. I took 2a as common, a is left, minus means minus, 2a, right, 2a if you take it out, 1 is left over. And what is the sign in front of a? Third term, minus. Take always the sign which is in front of the first, second, third term as here. As minus is there, I took minus and I took 1 as common, right? If you take minus 1 as common, a is there. Plus means minus into minus. I took 1 minus outside, means 1 more minus is here. Now I can write 1 as 1 into 1. You know that. So if I take 1 out, 1 now, 1 here, 1 is inside. So now here, now if you factorize, we are having same a minus 1 and a minus 1. Means we are doing good. So we got it as correct. Now let us write it as a minus 1 into the one which is outside. 2a minus 1 is equal to 0. Right, so a minus 1 is the first one, 2a minus 1 is the second one, is equal to 0. Now you will split it. Can I call it as a minus 1 is equal to 0, semicolon, 2a minus 1 is equal to 0. We got the two equations here. Still let us simplify. Can I call it as a is equal to minus 1 sent to the other side plus 1? Now here, can I take a as 1 by 2? Yes, so a is equal to 1 and a is equal to 1 by 2. Now let's get back to the actual concept now. So we got here, right here, what we got? A is equal to 1, we got the first one, and a is equal to 1 by 2. We got. So now we got the values of a. But my question is, we are not doing the sum for the sake of finding the value of a. We need the angle. So we just did something like this. Sin x is equal to a. So a is nothing but how much? Sin x. Let us bring back a value. So what's that? So here sin x is equal to 1, and here also sin x is equal to 1 by 2. We got the value here. Now our question is to find the missing angle. What's the value of x? Now let's go in a tricky manner. So what I'm doing, no issues, sin x is equal to 1, fine. Now in a planned way, what is the meaning of sine? Sine is nothing but opposite by hypotenuse. I'm writing like this, opposite by hypotenuse. Okay, or straight away we can judge what is 1, for what angle sine equals 1. Straight away, if you remember, it's nothing but sine x is equal to sine 90, right? Why? Because sine 90 is equal to 1. You have to remember this. Now if you cancel sine and sine on both the sides, we get the value of x as 90 degrees, right? Therefore, x is equal to pi by 2. We consider in radian measure. If it is in degree measure, x is equal to 90 degrees. Here, we got x is equal to pi by 2. Fine. We got x is equal to pi by 2 straight. But we are having one more. Okay. Now for this one, as I am doing the logic, let's go here. Sin x is equal to 1 by 2. Now let me apply the same logic here. Sin, I can write it as opposite by hypotenuse. Very good. Right. Now if you check it out our triangle, you know at the bottom we take 60 and the top we take 30. 30 opposite 1, 60 root 3, 90 opposite 2. Okay. Now for what right, which angle is opposite to for which angle opposite side is 1? Let us check it. I'd like to check this one. Right. For which angle, I like to write it. For which angle, for which theta, is it 30 degrees or 60 degrees? Right. Opposite side is 1. For which opposite? So shall I say it's nothing but theta 30 here. So that's what I said. For which theta opposite side is 1? Opposite side is 1. For which theta? It's nothing but 30 degrees. Therefore sin x is equal to sin 30 degrees. Okay. Sin x is equal to sin 30 degrees. If I cancel this, x is equal to 30 degrees. Okay, so x is equal to 30 degrees. Straight away I can write as x is equal to 30 degrees. It's nothing but pi by 6. So we got the answers. We got the answers as pi is equal to 90 or 30 degrees or x is equal to 90 or 30 degrees or x is equal to pi by 2 or pi by 6. Fine. But there is a trick what we have to understand. So what is x? X, are we getting positive? Yes, x we are getting positive. Then start thinking differently. If we are having 4 quadrants, quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3 and quadrant 4, right? If we are having 4 quadrants, sign is positive here. Sign is positive. Now, where sign is positive? Shall I take sign is positive in the first quadrant? Sign is positive here and sign is positive here, right? If you think about all silver teacups, sign is positive in the first and second quadrant, right? Now, both x by 90 and pi by 6, 30 degrees and 90 we are having here only. Why can't we get the angle here also? So what I am doing, I am going for here, here I am going in different way. Now I am thinking about quadrant 2. In quadrant 2, right here, if you go for the angle here, right, this is the angle. So this is the angle I am considering it as, that is 180 minus 30 degrees. Why? Because this is 30 degrees and sign is positive in the second quadrant also. Second quadrant means pi, right? This is 180 degrees, you know that. 180 minus 30 is nothing but again. So I like to take like this. Sine 180 minus 30. So, right, we can take it as sine, it's nothing but 150 degrees. Okay, so what is 150 degrees in terms of radians? Right, what's the value? So I like to take like this. So if you know 180 degrees is equal to pi. Yes, we know 1 degree is equal to pi by 180. Why? Because 180 means, 180 I took it to the other side. So what we want, it's nothing but 150 degrees. So which implies 150 into 1 degree is equal to pi by 180 into 150. This is what, if you cancel it out, 0, 0, it goes on, it's nothing but 3, 5 and 3, 6, which is nothing but 5 pi by 6. 5 pi by 6 means for which angle, right, x is positive, it is nothing but we can take this also, that is x is equal to 5 pi by 6 also. Right, so if you check it out, I am writing the values, right? The theta sign here, theta is equal to, it might be pi by 6, right, pi by 6 or pi by 2 and 5 pi by 6, or theta is equal to 30 degrees, 90 degrees and 150 degrees. For all these values of theta, the quadratic expression is correct. Means this is how we are solving the quadratic equation in trigonometry. Of course, I like to repeat the term here. If you are confused, it is a little bit high standard. X is equal to pi by 2, x is equal to pi by 6. Pi by 6 means 30 degrees. Fine. So sign is positive. Both values we are getting positive. So sign is positive. In which quadrant sign is positive? In the first quadrant and second quadrant. Always, as we want the same for sign, right? Therefore, always take 180 only. 180 or 360. You should not take 90 or 270. Why? Because we need the same sign repeating. So 150 can be written as, so 180 minus, we need the same 30 here. We need the same 30, right? Therefore, 180 minus 30 is also second quadrant. Therefore, 180 minus means 150. So what is sine 150? How to write it down? So what I have taken, we know 180 degrees. So this is the topic here. Right, 180 degrees is equal to pi. So what I have done, I made it as 180 into 1 degree. I took 180 to the down. So what we want 150. So I had multiplied with 150 on both the sides. I got 5 pi by 6. Okay, so this is the way how we are supposed to solve quadratic equation in trigonometry. Hope you understood, but don't forget the logic. always we should have same price, point 1. The squared trigonometry should be changed, point 2. And the next one, if it is okay for you, convert in terms of any constant. Convert in terms of any constant.
In this channel, I have been placing both math and science videos